Hello sourdough enthusiasts! Welcome to my channel about sourdough baking. I am Anna Botti, baker from Italy, and today I will show you how to get creative with the rye boule recipe and make it with malt and prunes. To make this rye sourdough bread even richer and tastier, we will bake it with dark rye malt and prunes. So how does the technique change in this case? We're going to pre-soak the malt in boiling water. For 800 grams of discarded levain, I suggest using a maximum of 50 grams of dark rye malt. You can also use less if you don't like the intense flavor of dark malt. Even if you use less, the soaking ratio will always be 1 to 2. So if you use, for instance, 30 grams of malt, soak it in 60 grams of boiling water. In my case, I used 50 grams and I soaked it in 100 grams of boiling water. And I used 200 grams of prunes pitted. You can also reduce or increase this amount. Here I have 16 grams of salt, but if you want to reduce the salt or eat less salty food in general, you can safely cut down the salt in this recipe because the flavor will still be rich. In this case, you can use, for example, 12 grams of salt instead of 16. For 800 grams of discard and 400 grams of rye flour in this case, you may not need additional water in the boule version of this bread. All the water is already in the soaked dark malt. You need to focus again on the consistency of the dough. But if you have 100 grams of boiling water here, you may not need additional water. We will see what kind of dough we will get, so we can decide later to add additional water or not. So when do we add ingredients? We add the soaked malt along with the salt, discard and flour. We add the prunes in the end of mixing. Okay, let's go! Since we need to get the dough warm at a temperature of 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, I did not cool the malt completely. It has just cooled down for an hour or two, not completely cooled. It's warm, just as we need. And we start mixing. The dough turns out sticky. We will combine all the ingredients at once except the prunes, as I said before. And we will add the prunes at the end of mixing. And now we need to understand the consistency. And we have to decide if the water from the soaked malt is enough or do we need to add more water. And if you see that your dough is too dense and you need to add more water, add it little by little, just 10 grams at a time, no more. And if you add too much water, it's okay, but bake this bread in a pan for sandwich loaf. And in this case, the dough will be a lot, so you might need to divide it among the pans you have. Distribute the dough in the pans. It should be exceeded 1 kilogram for a 1.8 liter volume pan. So if your pan is more or less 2 liters, the dough should be about 1 kilogram. But if your consistency of your dough is correct, then we will bake the boule version. Here is the beautiful dough we get, and you can take it in your hands and form a ball. See how it's dark due to the mold, and it's very beautiful. And if we take a little piece of this dough and test it again, it should not collapse immediately, but should slowly and smoothly go down in your hands. You see? And after we achieve the desired consistency, we add the prunes to the dough. Again, note that the dough holds its shape and does not spread out. But it's not too stiff either, and if you take a piece, it will slowly go down. Perfect! Now we simply add our prunes. Could we have added them at the beginning? Of course, but since we needed to knead quite intensively at the start, the prunes might turn into the paste and distribute it throughout the dough instead of remaining in pieces. If the prunes are tender and moist, we might damage them. Of course, nothing bad will happen. It will be still delicious, just without chunks of prunes in the dough. And yes, the dough already smells incredibly delicious. And you already want to eat it with a spoon. But wait, we need to bake this beautiful loaf. Everything is going according to our plan. Okay, so once you see that the prunes are evenly distributed, you can stop here. And then all you need to do is to shape the dough, smooth the surface, and let it proof in a transparent container. The temperature of the dough should be from 28 to 30 degrees Celsius. And if your dough did not achieve this temperature, put it in a warm spot to reach the desired temperature. And then follow the procedure. Shape, proof, and bake this loaf as regular rye boule bread. And now let's see the result. The knife is essentially clean, which is how it should be. And here we have a dark, finely porous, beautiful crown. It really is some incredibly aromatic, fragrant and delicious bread. Enjoy it! Looking forward to seeing your beautiful creations. You can follow my social media and happy baking!